Leo was an ordinary boy with an extraordinary dream. He lived in a small village called Stony Brook. Stony Brook was a quiet place. There were gray houses, gray streets, and a gray school. But behind the village there was a forest. Everyone called it the Blue Forest because at night the trees glowed with a soft blue light. The people of Stony Brook were afraid of the forest. "Do not go there, Leo," his mother said every morning. "The forest has secrets. People go in, but they do not come out the same." Leo was 12 years old. He was curious. He didn't want to stay in the gray village forever. He wanted to see the blue light. He wanted an adventure. One Tuesday afternoon, Leo was sitting in his garden. Suddenly, he saw something strange. A small mechanical bird landed on his fence. It was not a real bird. It was made of silver and copper. Its eyes were two tiny rubies. "Hello," the bird said in a metallic voice. "You can talk?" Leo jumped. "I am a messenger. My master is in trouble. He is in the center of the Blue Forest. He needs a person with a brave heart." Leo looked at the dark, glowing trees in the distance. His heart beat fast. "I am just a boy," Leo said. "I am not a hero." "Heroes are not born, they are made. My name is Pip. Will you help us?" Leo thought about his gray life. He thought about the gray school and the gray streets. He looked at Pip. The silver bird reflected the sun. "Okay," Leo said, "I will help." The journey begins. Leo went into his house. He put some things in his old backpack: a bottle of water, 2 sandwiches, cheese and tomato, a flashlight, a compass that belonged to his grandfather, a warm red jacket. He left a note for his mother. "Mom, I am going to the forest. Do not worry. I have a sandwich. I will be back for dinner." Leo and Pip walked toward the edge of the village. The air changed. It became cool and smelled like rain and flowers. As they stepped into the Blue Forest, the gray world disappeared. The trees were tall and beautiful. Their leaves were not green. They were a deep, dark blue. Small blue butterflies flew around Leo's head. "It is beautiful," Leo whispered. "It is also a puzzle," Pip said. "Look at the ground." Leo looked down. The path was not made of dirt. It was made of giant white tiles like a bathroom floor. On each tile there was a letter. To move forward, you must spell the word heart. If you step on the wrong letter, the trees will move and you will be lost. Leo was nervous. He looked at the tiles. He saw an H. He jumped on it. Click! The tile glowed. Then he found the E, the A, the R, and finally the T. The trees in front of them opened like a door. They were deeper in the forest now. The guardian of the bridge. After an hour of walking, they reached a river. The water was purple and very fast. There was a wooden bridge, but a large creature sat in the middle. It was a troll, but it didn't look mean. It was wearing a hat and reading a book. "Stop," the troll said. He looked at Leo. "I am Barnaby. Nobody crosses my bridge for free." "I don't have any money," Leo said. "I don't want money," Barnaby laughed. "I want a story. Give me a story I have never heard, and you can cross." Leo thought hard. He remembered a story his grandfather told him about a giant fish that lived in the clouds. He told the story to Barnaby. He spoke about the fish's silver scales and how it ate stars for breakfast. Barnaby listened carefully. When Leo finished, the troll clapped his big hands. "Wonderful! I love stars. You may cross, boy." As Leo walked across the bridge, he felt stronger. He He was not just a boy from a gray village anymore. He was an adventurer. "We are close," Pip said, flying ahead, "but the Shadow King is watching. He does not like visitors." Leo saw a tall black tower in the distance. It was not blue like the forest. It was dark and cold. The blue light of the trees did not go near it. "Who is the Shadow King?" Leo asked. "He was once a great inventor, but he wanted to stop time. He wanted everything to be perfect and still. Now he traps anything that moves." Suddenly, the ground shook. A loud noise came from the tower. The sky turned gray. "Run!" Pip shouted. "The Shadow King is sending his iron guards." The iron guards were terrifying. They were tall, heavy, and made of dark metal. They did not have faces. They only had one red light in the center of their chests. Clang, 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 their metal feet hit the white tiles of the forest path. "This way! Hide behind the silver willow!" Pip chirped. Leo ran as fast as he could. His red jacket was bright against the blue trees. He dived behind a large tree with long, metallic leaves that looked like silver hair. He held his breath. He could hear the iron guards passing by. The red light of their chests scanned the forest like flashlights. "Are they gone?" Leo whispered after a long minute. "For now," Pip replied, "but the Shadow King knows we're here. He's using the forest's energy to track us. We must reach the Hall of Echoes." The Hall of Echoes. They walked deeper into the forest. The blue light was brighter here. Soon they reached a building that looked like a giant glass bubble. Inside there were no walls, only mirrors. "This is the Hall of Echoes," Pip explained. "The Shadow King uses this place to steal people's memories. If you look into a mirror for too long, you will forget why you're here." Leo walked carefully. He saw hundreds of versions of himself in the mirrors. In one mirror, he saw himself back in the gray village, sitting in his gray classroom. In another, he saw himself eating dinner with his mother. "Don't look, Leo. Look at your compass," warned Pip. Leo looked down at his grandfather's compass. The needle was spinning wildly, but then it stopped. It pointed toward a mirror that was cracked. "The broken mirror is the exit," Leo realized. He ran toward the cracked glass and walked through it. It wasn't a solid wall. It was like walking through cold water. On the other side, they were in a huge, secret laboratory. The Clockmaker's Prison. The laboratory was full of strange machines. There were giant gears turning slowly and tubes filled with glowing blue liquid. In the center of the room, an old man was sitting in a cage made of light. "Grandfather!" Leo gasped. The old man looked up. He had a long white beard and kind eyes. "Leo, is that you? How did you find this place?" "Pip found me. I came to rescue you." "Be careful, Leo," his grandfather said. "I am the royal clockmaker. The Shadow King trapped me here because I refused to build the grand clock of stillness. He wants to stop time for the whole world, so nothing ever changes." "How do I open the cage?" Leo asked. He tried to touch the bars of light, but they were hot. "You need the 3 energy crystals," the clockmaker explained. "The Shadow King hid them in the forest. One is in the Crystal Lake, one is in the Whispering Cave, and the last one is in the heart of the tower." Suddenly, a cold, deep voice echoed through the room. "A brave boy and a mechanical bird. How interesting." A tall man in a long black cloak stepped out from the shadows. His skin was very pale, and he wore a crown made of frozen smoke. It was the Shadow King. "You want to save your grandfather, Leo?" the Shadow King asked with a cold smile. "I will give you a chance. If you can find the 3 crystals before the moon reaches the top of the sky, I will let him go. But if you fail, you will stay here forever as my new apprentice." Leo looked at his grandfather, then at Pip, then at the Shadow King. He felt small, but he remembered what Pip said. Heroes are made. I accept your challenge, Leo said bravely. Very well. The Shadow King waved his hand, and Leo and Pip were suddenly standing back at the edge of a large glowing lake. The clock is ticking, little adventurer. The crystal lake was not like a normal lake. The water did not move, and it looked like a giant piece of blue glass. Small islands of white stone floated on the surface. The first crystal is at the bottom of the lake, Pip said, hovering over the water. But you cannot swim in this water. It is liquid time. If you touch it, you will become very old or very young in a second. Leo looked at the floating stones. They moved slowly. He realized he had to jump from stone to reach the center of the lake. I have to be careful, Leo said. He took a deep breath. He jumped onto the first floating stone. It was slippery. Then he jumped to the second and the third. In the middle of the lake, there was a small pedestal made of gold. On top of the pedestal sat a bright yellow crystal. It looked like a piece of the sun. Leo reached the pedestal and grabbed the yellow crystal. It felt warm in his hand. Suddenly, the stone started to sink. "Leo, jump!" Pip screamed. Leo ran and jumped as fast as he could. He reached the grass just before the last stone disappeared into the purple water. He was safe, and he had the first crystal. The Whispering Cave. "Next is the Whispering Cave," Pip said. "It is inside the Great Mountain." The entrance to the cave was shaped like a giant mouth. When Leo walked inside, it was very dark. He turned on his flashlight. The walls of the cave were covered in strange ears made of stone. "Hello?" Leo said. "Hello, hello, hello," the whispers whispered back. But the whispers did not stop. They started to tell Leo secrets. They whispered about his fears and his gray life in the village. "Don't listen to them," Pip said. "The cave wants to confuse you. We need to find the blue crystal. It is the crystal of sound." Leo covered his ears with his hands. He closed his eyes and followed the sound of a soft bell. Tink, tink, tink. He walked deeper into the cave until he saw a small blue glowing stone hanging from the ceiling like an ice cube. He grabbed the blue crystal, and the whispers stopped immediately. The cave became silent. The heart of the tower. Leo looked at the sky. The moon was almost at the top. "We only have 1 hour left," Pip said. They ran toward the Shadow King's black tower. The iron guards were standing outside, but they were not moving. They looked like statues. "The tower is a giant machine," Pip explained. "The last crystal, the red crystal, is the battery for the whole forest. It is in the highest room." Leo and Pip entered the tower. There were no stairs, only floating platforms. Leo had to climb higher and higher. Finally, he reached the top room. In the center of the room, the red crystal was inside a glass box. But the Shadow King was there too. "You are fast, boy," the Shadow King said, "but the red crystal is mine. If you take it, the blue forest will lose its light. The trees will turn gray, just like your village. Is your grandfather's life more important than the forest?" Leo stopped. He looked at the beautiful red light. He looked at Pip. He didn't want the forest to turn gray. He loved the blue trees and the glowing butterflies. "There must be another way," Leo said. He looked at his grandfather's compass. He saw that the compass was made of the same metal as the crystals. "Pip, my grandfather is an inventor," Leo realized. He took the yellow crystal and the blue crystal. He did not break the glass box. Instead, he put his grandfather's compass on top of the box. The 3 items started to glow together. The light was not yellow, blue, or red. It was white. The white light hit the Shadow King. He did not die, but his black cloak turned into a white coat. His smoke crown disappeared. He looked like a normal man again. "The balance is restored," the man said softly. He looked confused. "I remember now. I was trying to save the world, not trap it." The return of the clockmaker. The light moved down the tower and hit the laboratory. The cage of light disappeared, and Leo's grandfather was free.
The Shadow King, who was now just an inventor named Marcus, thanked Leo. He used his machines to turn the iron guards into garden robots to help the village. Leo, his grandfather, and Pip walked back to Stony Brook. But the village was not gray anymore. The white light from the tower had reached the houses and the streets. The people were out in their gardens, laughing and talking. Leo's mother ran to him and hugged him. "You're home, and look, the village is beautiful." Leo smiled. He was still an ordinary boy, but he knew that even a gray village can have a colorful heart if you have a little bit of courage. "Will you stay, Pip?" Leo asked. The silver bird landed on his shoulder. "There are many secrets in the world, Leo. Do you want to find the next one?" Leo looked at the horizon. "Yes," he said. "Let's go."
Life in Stony Brook changed after Leo returned from the Blue Forest. The village was no longer gray. The houses were painted bright colors and the people were happy. However, Leo's grandfather, the clockmaker, was worried. He spent all day in his workshop looking at a large golden map. "What is the matter, grandfather?" Leo asked one morning. "The balance is still not perfect, Leo," his grandfather replied. "When we broke the Shadow King's spell, we opened a door. Now the magic from the forest is flying into the sky. Look." Leo looked out the window. High above the village, the clouds were turning into solid shapes. Some looked like giant islands, and others looked like white castles. "The Sky Islands," Pip chirped from Leo's shoulder. "They are beautiful, but they attract the wrong kind of visitors." Suddenly, a loud horn sounded from the clouds. A giant ship appeared from behind a castle-shaped cloud. It did not have water under it. It had big purple balloons and golden sails. It was a flying ship. "Sky pirates!" Pip screamed. The ship landed in the middle of the village square. A woman with a long blue coat and a hat decorated with mechanical gears stepped off the ship. She held a telescope in her hand. "Greetings, people of Stony Brook," she shouted. "I am Captain Veda. We are looking for the Windstone. My sensors say it is in this village." The captain's request. The villagers were afraid. They hid in their houses. But Leo and his grandfather walked toward Captain Veda. "There is no Windstone here," the clockmaker said firmly. "We are simple people." The captain looked at the clockmaker's workshop. She saw the golden map through the window. "You are the clockmaker. I have heard of you. You built the machines that control the seasons." She walked closer to Leo. "And you must be the boy who saved the forest. Listen, Leo, we are not bad people. We are explorers. But a giant storm is coming from the north. If we don't find the Windstone to power our ship, the storm will destroy the Sky Islands and fall on your village." Leo looked at the north. The sky was turning a dark, angry purple. He could see lightning inside the clouds. "Where is the stone?" Leo asked. "It is hidden in the clock tower of the clouds," Veda said. "But the tower is moving. It is very high, and the air is very thin. My crew is too heavy for the small platforms. We need a small, fast team." Leo looked at Pip. Pip nodded. "I will go," Leo said, "but you must promise to protect my village from the storm." "I have my word," Captain Veda said. She pointed to her ship, the Dragonfly. "Welcome to the crew, Leo." Flying to the clouds. Leo stepped onto the Dragonfly. It was amazing. Everything was made of polished wood and shiny brass. There were ropes everywhere, and small robots were cleaning the deck. "Hold on tight," Captain Veda shouted. The ship moved up. Leo felt his stomach drop. The village became smaller and smaller. Soon they were flying through the clouds. The air was cool and tasted like ice. "Look at the map, Leo," Veda said. She showed him a small screen on the steering wheel. The map showed a tall, thin tower that was floating between three giant clouds. The tower was spinning slowly.
That is the clock tower, Veda explained. It controls the wind. If the storm hits it, the tower will break and the wind will never stop blowing. Suddenly the ship shook. A strong wind hit the sails. Crack! One of the golden sails tore. "The storm is here early," Pip shouted. The clouds around the ship turned black. Rain started to fall, but it was not normal rain. The drops were small, hard pieces of ice. "Leo, take the emergency rope," Veda yelled. "You and Pip must jump to the tower while we fix the sail. It's the only way." Leo grabbed a long, glowing rope. He looked at the tower. It was far away, and the wind was very strong. He was scared, but he remembered his mother and his colorful village.